What's up, guys? Back trying to pick away on the SquareBody. Been busy with a bit of life happening, and honestly, I've been struggling with some motivation to keep picking away on this thing. So what do? You force yourself to come out, and then you start to do, right? Little baby steps. We're going to start with something easy. The fans that Sean got come with these 2-pin connectors, but we only have the male end. We don't have the female end. And it's not a weather pack connector. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch it out to some weather pack connectors. So there's lots of different connectors you can get, different brands. Some are better than others. So you get what you can afford. This is a kit that Sean got off Amazon, I think. Just whatever you choose, make sure that the pins are heavy enough for the current that you're going to use on the circuit. Otherwise, you're just going to melt the connectors, and that's going to be high resistance and voltage drop, and it's going to be a bad thing. So we're going to use some heavier ones, a little bit heavier than this, but same idea. You have a pin that you crimp on there, you have a seal, and then the male and female weather pack connector. So the connector itself is sealed. So let's get to it. Big thing to remember is put the seal on first. Otherwise, you have a problemo. So to make it easier, put the seal on before you strip the insulation off, and then strip back your insulation. So how much insulation you actually strip back, I'm going to look at the connector itself. So if we look at the connector here, there's 2 sets of crimp fingers. The double set here, that's really all we need to crimp onto the wire, because the longer single fingers, this one, that crimps onto the actual weather pack seal. All right, so that's about right, about 5 millimeters around there. Now these, you're going to use these crimpers that squish it down just the right amount, and this one here is going to be the 16 to 14, I believe. And if you look at it, there's a curved portion and then almost like the top of a heart, like a double bump. So the double bump portion basically is going to roll down the fingers and then bite into the finger, kind of like the top of a heart. So we're going to pick the one that we deem appropriate. Ooh. I'm going to set that up into the actual crimper, and I kind of use that as a holding feature. Oops, sorry. Right, so that holds it for me. Now I can take the wire and I can worry about placing it where it needs to be. There we go. And I'm going to crimp it down, and you can see, oh shit, there you go. You can see how it rolled those fingers down. Now, if the wire is a bit smaller, what you can do is, just to make sure it's a tight connection, just kind of go to the next one smaller. Now the top, usually the seals, now move the seal down to position, and then these fingers, sometimes they kind of snag, they don't roll over exactly nice. So I just move them in slightly, and then we're going to crimp it over. Now you have to use a bit of judgment, because this is a soft, gooey silicone, and if you just smash it, then it's going to cut through the seal, right? So you just want it to grab onto the, just enough to grab onto the seal so the seal doesn't move, but you don't want to cut the seal itself. There you go, and repeat. Once you have the pins crimped on, then you have to install them to the connector. So it just clicks in snappity snap, snappity snap, and then this thing over here is a positive retention clip, so that just goes down and it holds the seals in place. There you go. Now we do the other ends. Now, before you put the pins in the connector, make sure you take your connector halves and line them up so you don't mix match your wires. So obviously the black is ground, so I'm going to make sure that I put the black on this side. Just a clickety click, same thing. And then I'll do my power wire, which this one here I've used gray to match the power wire off the relay. Clickety click, positive retention clip goes down, and then that just clicks into position. Hopefully. There we go. Now what I've done is I've left my wires pretty long, and then the gray wire, I've actually put the connector for the two fans together because they're going to splice to one point off the relay. So I'll put the fan back in, put the radiator back in, run my harness, and then I'll finalize the wire and splice that to the relay output on the truck. Alrighty, so here is our fan relay. It's just on a clip to the rad support. Got the harness all taped up. I'll show you kind of underneath. Still has to be finally secured, but I'll wait till there's more of the truck put together and we'll use some harness retaining clips. Okay, let's look underneath. So there is our two connectors. So fan 1, fan 2, and then we're just going to have a little eyelet here go to the cross member for the ground. I'm just going to put a ground screw over here. And yeah, there's our harness coming down. There's our fan relay up there, and it just goes through the cross member and the grommet. It'll be nice and tidy once it's all zip tied and should work nice.